Hey everyone, we made it day 20. Today is 22nd of March, and we are looking at input-output redirection. So we've covered something similar to this before, but we're just reinforcing it, right, through exercises. And once again, it's always good to look back at what you learned. So input-output redirection, in Bash, it allows you to essentially control where your input can go and where your output can go. So I'll have some examples later, but standard streams, there are 3 of them. So the standard input, or STDIN, this is like the default stream for input. It usually comes from your keyboard, right? And it's identified by the file descriptor of 0. Next we got standard output, or STD out, standard out. It's obviously the stream for the output, and usually it's the data, right, which is usually displayed on screen. That's what outputs are usually, and they're identified by the file descriptor of 1. And then we got the standard error, right? It's the stream for error messages. It's also displayed on screen by default, and it has a file descriptor of 2. And next we got some basic redirection operators. So we've looked at some of these before. So obviously the greater than is redirect the standard to a standard output to a file, and this is overwrite, meaning that it will replace whatever was already inside. And next we got double greater than, which is append. It redirects the standard output to a file, but it just adds it right at the end of it without overwriting. And then less than redirects the standard input from the file. So it allows the command to read input from a file, right? And then 2 greater than redirects the standard error to a file. And then the and sign greater than redirects both the standard out and the standard error to a file. So both like things on screen to a file. So here we got some examples. We can overwrite. So echo hello world will go into output.txt and overwrite anything inside. Whereas append, we can echo another line, the output will go to output.txt. So if output.txt already had hello world, there'll be another line that says another line, right? Next, redirect and input, right? Simple, right? We just, whatever input we had goes into here, goes into unsorted list. And redirect and error. So example here is when we want to look at ls non-existent directory, right? So obviously you can see that it doesn't exist, so we wouldn't have made this, so there'll be an error saying it doesn't exist, and then that error will go into error.log. And then redirecting both, right? Example just command. So we'll have an input and output, and we can go to output. It'll have an output and maybe an error, and it'll go to output and error log. So next we got piping. So what is it? Well, the pipe operator, which is that pipe sign, allows you to take the output of one command and use it as an input to another, and we've seen many uses of this. Now we have here documents. So what it is it lets you provide multiple lines of input to a command directly within your own script. So for example, to create a file here, to create a file with specific content, right? So we cat, and then the input of cat goes in EOF, and then the output of that goes into marfile.txt. Here we have more examples. So this will combine standard out and standard error to redirect both the standard output and error messages to a single file, right? So ls is directory. Yeah, so obviously it doesn't exist, right? So I have an output and error, and then we can discarding output to suppress both standard output and error messages. And then we have how to use T to write a file and standard output to display output on the screen and write it to a file at the same time. So echo hello world, and then we can use the pipe, right? The pipe to get t into output.txt. And then there were some exercises, and there are some exercises that will be done. I took a look at them, and it's nothing too hard. Unfortunately, it'll be hard to like test if I'm right or wrong, so I have to use like ChatGPT to check that there's no answers for the there's no answers here, so I just use the additional resources to double check, and then I put into ChatGPT, see if everything's alright. So yeah, I'll try these exercises out, and I'll probably put my answer on the notes, so go check it out yourself. Thanks for watching, see you guys tomorrow.